Men and women all over the globe are joining now for the best videos on the internet.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
And I'm doing my part too.
They're doing their part. Are you? Click the subscribe button now to become a member of the Action Pack. Would you like to know more?
Hello everyone and welcome. Are you ready to face the rats again? In the sequel to A Plague Tale: Innocence, that is exactly what you will be doing. I'm Mike, and this is Mike's After Action Reviews, and this is the Rapid Action Review for A Plague Tale: Requiem. So, as always, we're going to start with the game's production. It was developed by Asobo Studio, which is most well known for A Plague Tale: Innocence from 2019, and most recently did Microsoft Flight Simulator in 2020. It was published by Focus Entertainment, which is most well known for Blacktail from 2022, and then other than that game, most recently did Curse of the Dead Gods in 2020. The music was by Olivier Durivieri. He's most well known for Remember Me from 2023, and Vampire the Masquerade Swan Song is his most recent work in 2022. And by the way, he did a really great job with the music. The music here really does complement the gameplay, the story, and the tone that they're going for with this game. So, moving on to the story. For those of you who do not know, A Plague Tale: Requiem is a sequel to A Plague Tale: Innocence from 2019. As of making this video, I have not done a review of the first game, but I would give it a rating of excellent. Requiem takes place 6 months after the first game in the late 14th century France, and follows two young nobles, Amicia and Hugo de Rune, age 15 and 5 respectively. They were also the main protagonists from the first game. The story here is where the game truly comes alive. It is a well-crafted 15 to 20 hour narrative of sadness, hope, and surviving insurmountable odds. Everything centers around the macula, a congenital disorder of mystical origin that plagues the de Rune family line, and gives its victims a deep connection and the ability to control rats. But it will eventually kill those it infects. You primarily play as Amicia and serve as the protector of Hugo, who is infected with the macula, as you search for a cure and uncover the mysterious past of a secret order of alchemists that are trying to study and control the macula. So, then moving on to the core gameplay mechanic. The story may be the main reason to play the Plague Tale games, but that does not mean that they have skimped at all on the gameplay. Stealth combat is the core mechanic. A large part of the game involves using lights to repel the almost ever-present hordes of flesh-eating rats and taking down enemies that are much stronger than yourself. This can be done through open combat, but stealth tends to be the more often safer and effective option. Much like the first game, you will be armed with Amicia's signature sling, along with multiple craftable alchemical ammunitions that can also be thrown. The sling is useful as both a tool for solving environmental puzzles and as a weapon against enemies that aren't wearing helmets. It should also be noted that the sling's basic ammo type, rocks, is unlimited, which should go without saying. You can use Ignifer to light fires and create light to repel rats. Extinguishes fires. This is useful for taking down enemies that use torches to protect themselves from the rats. It also creates clouds that block enemy vision. Odorous attracts rats and can be used offensively against enemies or used to move hordes of rats to clear paths. Tar can be thrown onto fires to stun enemies around them, It can also be thrown on the ground, after which it will slow enemies, and can be ignited with Ignifer. One of the new features of combat this time around is the crossbow. You receive the crossbow about a third of the way through the game, and it is truly a game changer. The crossbow allows Amicia to take down lightly armored enemies with a shot to the chest. It does not require you to hit them in the head. Heavily armored enemies require you to first remove the armor by shooting a device on their back that is holding it onto their bodies. The crossbow can also be combined with the game's different ammo types, just like the sling, although it should be used sparingly as the bolts found throughout the game are scarce. Much like the Last of Us series, Amicia can also find single-use knives that allow her to stab enemies as they grab her. Players may consider not using the knives on enemies though, as they are also used to open locked workbenches, which are full of crafting resources. So then moving on to the game's special features. The character progression system from the first game has been expanded. Amicia's gear can be upgraded much like before, but now players will also have access to a 3-pronged skill tree. The 3 branches of the skill tree are Prudence, Aggressive, and Opportunism. The Prudence branch of the skill tree is progressed when the player completes encounters without alerting enemies. And it gives Amicia skills that increase her effectiveness with stealth, such as decreasing the sound she makes while moving. The Aggressive branch of the skill tree progresses as you enter direct combat with enemies, and gives powerful skills such as being able to push enemies into fire pits and hordes of rats. Opportunism increases when you use your alchemical armaments to take down enemies, and offers skills that increase the effectiveness of those alchemical armaments and efficiency when crafting them. Just like A Plague Tale: Innocence, Requiem allows you to upgrade your sling, crossbow, and equipment using scrap pieces and tools that you find throughout the game. Tools are much rarer to find than pieces, but their scarcity can be circumvented by upgrading your crafting instruments to the 3rd tier, in which you will get an unbreakable tool, rendering the need to find tools in the world not necessary. So, moving on to my final statement and review score. The Plague Tale series is defined by one thing: the rats. It's such a unique experience to play through the story, meeting and connecting with each of the characters as their relationships unfold, all the while watching the world sink into darkness and despair, and fending off hordes of rats with what little light you can find or make yourself. Requiem is also a great evolution of the formula of the first game in both story and gameplay. In the first game, the characters felt much less powerful, and were always just barely keeping their heads above water in every situation. Here, in the sequel, Amicia receiving the crossbow and Hugo having his newfound connection with the rats gives us the opportunity to see both on an adventure displaying their full power. For all these reasons, I give the game a rating of excellent. It is really fun, pulls on your heartstrings, and I hope we get another sequel, as is teased in a post-credit scene, much like an MCU movie. But that's all I've got today, guys. I do want to thank you all for watching and just say, God bless you all, and have a good day. Don't forget to check me out on Twitch and join the Discord, where you can voice chat with me while I live stream, and you won't be recorded or anything on YouTube and Twitch, so that's pretty cool. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram. If you like to read, you can see my after-action reports on my blog. And if you are interested, you can get some merch from my spring store. The links for everything are in the description below.